June 21st, 1866. The Austro-Prussian War turns 1 week old. The first week of the war had seen several bloody combats already, and as Prussian and Austrian forces concentrate, the war will only escalate in its violence. A brief lull in the fighting sees a few days pass before any more action. However, it is on June 24th that the various armies begin to move and both sides take action. On the Berlin-Vienna front, both sides consolidate their forces, preventing either from attacking with overwhelming numbers. The more interesting area is that of the Rhine region. The Hanover Corps dashes for Dortmund in a daring gamble to seize the city before the Prussians can defend it, and they succeed, catching the Prussian corps off guard, who presumed that the Hanover Corps would fight for its capital of Hanover. On top of that, near Frankfurt, the Austrian armies began an offensive, attempting to force Cologne in order to destroy the Prussian Third Army. Then, on the Italian front, the weakened Austrian forces consolidate in Venice, defending it against a series of corps attacks from the Italians. The largest action in the Rhine happened north of Cologne in the little town of Overath, where Prussian forces were caught by several Austrian and southern German corps, attempting to defeat them in a decisive battle. Outnumbered quite severely, the Prussians fought desperately, but failed to overcome the Austrian numbers. After 2 long days of bloody fighting, the Prussians suffered nearly 20,000 casualties, and Cologne was overrun. The rapid advance of the Austrians prevented the Prussians from evacuating their supply dumps, completely cutting off the Army of the Rhine from any future supplies, leaving them to potentially starve should they not be able to escape this encirclement. However, not all is lost on the Rhine. As the Battle of Overath gets underway, the Prussians are quick to discover a sneaky maneuver from the Austrians, where they were sending the 15th Corps to cut off the escape routes from Cologne. Should this succeed, the Austrians would completely encircle the Prussian Third Army and likely destroy it outright. In response to this, the Prussian Third Army commits its 8th Corps, practically its strongest formation, in order to prevent it. The battle is fought in the town of Rheinbach, leading to one of the closest and bloodiest battles of the entire conflict. The Prussians know very well that a loss here could completely destroy their army and lead to the complete loss of the Rhine territories. So, committing some of their strongest generals in the area, they fight a series of brilliant tactical victories, dealing significant damage and causing 20,000 Austrian casualties for minor damage of their own. The Third Prussian Army manages to survive another day, falling back along the roads kept open near Rheinbach by the 8th Corps. It is on the 26th that a tragedy bestrokes the Austrian forces as a Prussian cannonball manages to connect and kill Field Marshal Hasselmann von Rugberg, who dies on the 27th from that injury. The death of this field marshal is a grave loss for the Austrians, as he had led the offensives in person that led to the capture of Cologne. On June 28th, Field Marshal Hasselmann would be replaced by General Felix Brandauer, who would then lead future offensives against the Prussian Army of the Rhine. Shifting to the Italian front, the Italians would attempt to take Venice in a quick dash with 3 corps that it had concentrated near Florence. It would not involve the 2 corps near Verona, as they would not be able to reach in time. This, however, had the unintended consequence of leaving out Garibaldi's red shirts and also the Alpine troops, leaving mostly the standard Italian line infantry to carry out the assault of the city. This would not go over well, as the Austrians would concentrate their forces, leading to several battles as the Italians were disorganized and attacks were incoherent with each other. Several battles did manage to reach into the city itself, and fighting even broke out in the famous waterways of Venice. However, after 2 days of fighting, the Italians would face several Austrian counterattacks that would drive them out of the city and back into their own territory. Austrian casualties were relatively light, while several Italian corps took significant damage. It was a strong morale boost for the weakened Austrian forces, who had suffered horrifically at the Battle of Mazain just 1 week prior. However, they are still outnumbered, and the Austrians will have to continue fighting well in order to not be overwhelmed, as the Italians continue to concentrate and bring more troops to the front line. As the week comes to an end, the battles have changed the landscape significantly. Prussia has managed to seize Hanover, but the Prussian Third Army remains now isolated and trapped without supplies in the Rhine. They are in a dire situation, understrength, outnumbered, and with no supplies. They will have to perform a miracle in order to escape without being completely destroyed. Elsewhere, the front line remains relatively static as both sides dig in around Prague and Dresden. There is a lost opportunity as Prussian forces actually pull out of Breslau, where the Austrians are unable to detect this due to a screening force that the Prussians leave behind. If they had realized this, the Austrians could have seized the town with no difficulty. But now a massive Prussian force seems set to retake the city in the near future. On the Italian front, the battle at Venice is a victory that leaves the Italians weakened. However, they are still outnumbered, and as all 6 Italian corps concentrate, the Austrians will have to soon face an overwhelming advantage. How they will perform remains to be seen. The Austrians, with the actions this week, have seemingly put themselves in an advantageous position. However, the concentration of Prussian and Italian forces means that these advantages could very quickly be reversed should the Austrians not perform well in upcoming battles. Whether they will maintain this advantage and win the war, or whether the Prussians and Italians will turn it against them, will have to be seen soon. The only thing for certain is that there are many battles that still must be fought, and that neither side can claim victory so far. If you enjoyed this retelling of this war, please make sure to like and subscribe, as I am doing weekly videos on this war as turns happen. Make sure also to check down in the description, as there's a link to the Fire and Maneuver Discord, which contains the community event, and you might be able to still participate in upcoming turns and can change what these videos are actually going to be over. It's overall a very fun event. I'm having a lot of fun covering it, and many people are enjoying it. So if you're interested in this, especially after these videos, make sure to check it out. Otherwise, that is all I have for you today. If you missed it, make sure to check out the first video of this series, which is also down in the description. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and have a good day.